If we could understand a little more about setting up local digital inclusion initiatives, because it's one aspect is what you've been talking about, uh, empowering people, making them providers and enablers instead of being recipient. But there is also the question of the data around disability is also extremely skewed, extremely, we don't have data that adequately represents how persons with disabilities are also a diverse group. So the picture of who is a disabled person is a very settled, very set picture, very stereotypical picture, if I may say. But through your experience, through your work, and including the interventions in the field as well as the research work, you have, of course, a much better sense of this kind of diversity. So when we are trying to design policy at a government level, or we are trying to design intervention at a larger level, how do you think this diversity among persons with disabilities can be approached? How can that be accounted for?
So I would say that it is actually innovation on I would say the data collection also and the data contextualization. For example, let's say if we have a diversified, if we have a data which shows the diversity of various kind of disability, let's say. Now the tick box is what are the disability, but there is no tick box or what are the abilities, right? Because you have to write on the abilities with the same person which is having disability. So what I'm giving example is that, let's say my hands are not working, let's say I'm one of the disability, but should we only work on making that hand work, or should we work that your mouth is working, your voice is working, your eyes are working, your mind is working, your other parts of the body is working, and how those working and the devices and the able devices can actually make it not even think about my hand. It's something like we used to use remote control which is handled by hand, but now all the remote controls are voice enabled, so voice controlled. So I am controlling all the remote controls by voice. So I don't need my hand for managing. I'm just giving one example. So rather than thinking that, I will create, something non-handheld, you think about what are the things voice enabled, eyes enabled, visual enabled. And that is where the real innovation and contextualization is very important. And I would like to say that while I'm not denying, and it must be that our census or data collection on the diversified people must be done. Beside that, we should have equal effort that what are the already available ability oriented things which is available, which can contextualize. So for example, can we have a list of everything that a mobile phone does which is directly related to the people with disability? Because mobile device is the most able device among all the other devices in terms of making you work in something like it can transliterate, it can you don't have to see and it will speak it out your messages. There are many other things that the mobile gives you, and in a very secure manner, by keeping your data also very secure, the mobile does. But I don't know, and many of the people with disability do not know, and especially if I don't know, which I'm a source of enabler in some of the community, then it's a pity that I don't know. And so, can there be a whole, what you call the whole write up, the checklist, and everything that these are the things that we must apply? There are all the able things that let's say digital access public center should be at a village level. It should have a ramp, but it should have 100 other things, which is not done. And for example, none of our websites are voice enabled, none of the websites are hearing enabled, or visually enabled. That is the first thing that we should do. And to do that, you just have to make it mobile enabled. If you do mobile enabled, then automatically your content can also be read out and everything, which rather than doing on a typical web or traditional web version. So I'm saying that in the last sentence is that we must do the data collection and data solution from the very high level contextualization and making cross pollination of the facilitation of all the ability oriented things which can enable rather than only focusing on disability.